How old your baby was? The dance? He's a dancer. What I always noticed about
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Is that good? My voice is carrying through. My name is Jill Moore. I am the Executive Director here at Great River Arts, and I just want to welcome you this evening. Thank you very much for coming. We absolutely love Charles, and it's really great to have such a nice gathering in honor of him and his fine work. The concept for tonight's Salon, and this year's Salon, came about in a kind of a funny way. The front gallery up there, as you have seen, is teal, and that's a stretch for Charles. That's typically not his favorite color by any means, and he typically has the front gallery red for his salon. And when we painted the front gallery last, it was probably like January of this year, he kind of went, it's kind of contemporary. And I said, but I have a concept. Just think about this for a moment. I said, I know you have these beautiful sketches of these dancers. And for those of you that don't know me, I am a retired dancer, very retired and very tired. But it's been a while for me, but that's what I used to do. And so I really have a passion and a love for dance. And so I just said, you know, what about having those sketches in the front? And along with that, I knew Anne-Marie, who is back there, and her beautiful costumes that she designs and sews. And I thought, what if we bring all of that together in a great exhibit? Wouldn't that be fun? And he kind of went, oh, well, I could maybe, yeah, let me think about it. Anyway, he thought about it, and I'm very grateful to him for playing with me. And now we have this fantastic exhibit with Anne-Marie's tutus, Anne-Marie's backdrops, Charles' sketches, Charles' paintings, and, to make it all more incredible, the Rivers Ballet here to perform for us tonight, which gives me chills. I get so excited. So it's really, that's kind of how this whole thing came about this year. And I'm really honored and grateful and very excited to have everybody here. I also want to thank the Five Wings Arts Council for giving us a grant and making this happen for us this evening. As a nonprofit, we don't have deep pockets by any means, and they really support what we do here, and I'm very, very grateful to them for all that they do to help us keep our doors open and all of our artists working and able to exhibit their talents. So, thank you for being here. With that, I'm going to introduce Mr. Charles Kapsner.
Thank you all for being here this evening, and just to kind of go on a little bit about the theme, I'll let Georgia take over and talk about the Ballet Russe, but there are many thanks out here, especially to Jill and Sam, Scott, the entire board of the GRA, and all of the volunteers. And there are some other things that I'd like to bring up too. Is a lot of stuff has happened in this building since last year. Those of you who have not been here since then have seen that there's now a stage here. There's some walls that are missing. There's some new colors going on outside, and that seems to be kind of stirring a little bit of interest. And so, just to clarify that, I'd like to say that the beautiful golden earth color you see out there is called Raw Sienna D. And that is the second most used color on my palette next to white lead. And then we have aubergine, which is the purple up top. And that little sort of whitish hue you see in there is titanium nickel yellow. So if you remember those colors, there's a little lesson in color that we got a little extravagant. In addition to that, we have the wine tasting gentleman over here. Please go and chat with them. We have food from Coburn's. I want to thank Greg and gang very much for that. We have some things from Thielens, and just a lot of different things for you all to enjoy this evening. In addition to that, I'd like to say we have wonderful world-class musicians, cello vet and Carol Christensen. We're glad to have them back. And I believe, have I covered? Oh, we have the youngest member attending, George, is that his name? He's 7 weeks old, and he is he in a tuxedo or something like that? No. Okay. Pardon me? Okay, hold on just a second here. I need to have a little something here.
I'm the speechwriter for
Thank you.
playback.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, and that's right. One thing I have to additional duty here is Anne-Marie did not want to say anything, so I got thrown in here. And I want you all to really enjoy the costumes because she designs these from scratch. The fabrics are wonderful. And in addition to that, she paints these huge backdrops. And this is just a small section of one. The large part of it, I believe, was like 18 by 44 feet. And she's painted quite a few of those over the years, and that's no simple task if you've ever sort of seen what these are, but it gives you a chance to get up close and personal to see what this is like. I'm sure some of you have seen them, the stage itself, and you don't get a chance to get this close. So again, we've done a lot to just really give you the flavor of the ballet tonight, and we just hope you all enjoy it. And without further ado, I will let Georgia take over.
Everyone, and I'm Georgia Finnegan-Amdahl. My friend Jennifer Murray and I, first of all, want to thank Jill, Charles, and Catherine for bringing us here. We find it a wonderful opportunity, and so we are very grateful for that. Jennifer and I, about 2.5 years ago, began Rivers Ballet, and we're from the cities. She lives in Minneapolis. I live in St. Paul, both sides of the river, and our thought was we really love classical ballet, so our mission is to advance classical ballet through excellent collaboration, training, and performances. And this is one sample of performances. I also know Anne-Marie Ethan. Anne-Marie and I have been friends a long time. She actually brought me here to Little Falls in this area, and that's how I met Charles and Catherine. So it's wonderful to be here and to be performing at the Salon de Ballet Russe. We have a wonderful opportunity. Jennifer, about 2.5 years ago, introduced me to Rochelle Zeid. She is one of the few remaining actual ballet russe dancers of the 20th century, going into the 21st. And so what she did, Jennifer and I brought her to the Twin Cities 2 years ago, and for the past 2 summers, she's worked with some of our dancers and actually taught them things that she had learned in the ballet russe while she was dancing in Europe, in America, in Australia with the ballet russe. And so what you will see tonight, excerpts 2 variations from Les Sylphides. The original choreographer is Fokine, early 1900s, and she learned it from someone that learned it from Fokine. So that's about as close as you can get in today's world, and that was passed on to our dancers. So for ballet, the lineage is to be passed on from one body to the next. So we are so thrilled to have that happen and to give that legacy on to them. And so they are working on Les Sylphides, which they learned last summer. They'll keep working on it all year, and 1 or 2 of them will probably perform it in April again in an adjudicated audience. So I'd like to have Jennifer talk a little bit about an exercise that Rochelle taught, and we'll go on from there.
Thank you. I just want to say too, we're delighted to be here tonight. It's such a treat. We were talking as we were preparing backstage that this is so much, the Salon tonight is so much like the Ballet Russe itself. It traveled all over every continent, taking excellence in visual art, in music, in costuming, beautiful dancers, all the best artists from all over the world, the best choreography, everything. The very first director of the very first Ballet Russe, Sergei Diaghilev, wanted every single of the 5 senses to be touched when any audience member came in that night. So we just are excited to be sharing part of that with you. And as an example,
You have wine and food.
yes, I was gonna say there's even and they did too. That was revolutionary in performances to be having wine and something to look at, and these Coco Chanel at one point was designing the costumes. We just, yes, all that, excellent.
So Anne-Marie, you are like Coco Chanel, right?
Rochelle Zide, the dancer that Georgia spoke about, who's now 76 years old. I was 20 years ago trained with her. And we thought it would be fun to share with you some exercises she used just as an example of the training that the Ballet Russe would bring, because suddenly, the reason the Ballet Russe was so revolutionary was that suddenly, instead of being about classicism for the sake of classicism, it was to bring it more to people, to be more entertaining and more involved, more of the senses. So instead of appreciating something academic, every movement and every piece of choreography and every note and every color was chosen to bring about an emotion. So dancers, if you would join us, please. This first exercise we'll share is one that Rochelle has put together to help the dancers practice their musicality. It's a jumping exercise. Okay. Yes. As you watch, you'll notice that the dancers are jumping on different counts and turning different amounts every time that they jump. So this was something that she developed through her training, starting with the Ballet Russe, because you had to learn so fast. You got off the train in the Ballet Russe in a city, and you started that morning, you rehearsed that afternoon, learned your choreography, and went on stage all at the same time. All on the same day, and got back on the train at 11 o'clock or the bus, and slept a little bit, and then started again the next day. We wanted to say too, these beautiful tutus are also Anne-Marie's tutus, so you can enjoy watching them move in addition to on the dress forms. So this is the first jumping exercise in Rochelle. Great dancers. 2, 4, that this was a jump that Rochelle taught these dancers this past summer, one that she worked on with me in my class 20 years ago. We were all doing leaps across the room, and she stood up and she said, okay, good. Those were academically, technically perfect leaps. Good for you. The audience will not care at all. Let's go back and jump for real this time. So Ellie is going to demonstrate, the first dancer, for you, a perfect academic leap, which is very low and straight and clean. And then Miller and Emma will demonstrate Rochelle's version of the jump, which is much higher and throwing the arms and much more exciting.
The prelude variation from Les Sylphides, and unfortunately we won't have live music for that, but we will have the recorded music. So the dancers will perform this variation that was taught by Rochelle. It is from Coquin. to mention, when you see Les Filles, there's a corps of 16 dancers behind the principals and the soloists. And so Ellie up here represented the corps. She represented at least 16 other dancers. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Looks just like Paige Wetzel, Nichols' daughter. She looks just like Nicole Wetzel's daughter, Paige, the little one on the right.
They remind me of
That was a very lovely experience for all of us to have here at Great River, and again, thank all of you for being here. And just to kind of talk a little bit more about the Ballet Russe, it existed from 1909 to roughly 1929, and after that it sort of broke up, and then there was a group that came out of it called the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo. And for those of you who are big fans of movies from like the 30s, 40s, 50s, even early 60s, some of the interesting dance pieces and whatnot you would see were performed by members of the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo. So the fact that it still kind of goes on even today, as they were mentioning with this one teacher, is pretty phenomenal that we have something that's a touching point of over 100 years ago is still alive and well. So thank all of you, and I guess it's time for our musicians to come back up and perform for the rest of the evening. They have some special pieces. I think Carol told me if you're an author can tango, we would welcome you to, is that right? You say, yeah, exactly. So they're going to be practicing a few pieces for next summer's little event. So we're looking forward to the rest of the evening with some fabulous music. Thank you.